There is one big problem for the vast majority of you agents that is holding you back from seeing sustained, lifelong success in the short and long term of the insurance sales business, and we're going to cover that in detail coming right up. My name is David Duford. I own DeFord Insurance Group. If you're looking for an agency to join because you're brand new, aspiring, or frustrated with your existing agency, check out daviddeford.com/FAQ. We focus on mentorship on a one-on-one basis for final expense agents who want to sell the traditional way, face-to-face, or remotely over the phone. And we have a make money guarantee on top of all that because we're so confident in the work that we do. Check out daviddeford.com/FAQ for more details. So let's jump right in. So what is that number one problem that holds most of you back who are listening to this video from having any kind of success in the insurance sales business? The bottom line, the problem number one is that you will not go all in to whatever it is that you're selling. Now, it sounds simple on the surface, but it truly is a differentiating factor that I have seen those who fail, most people who fail the business, versus the few successful and greatly successful people in my 13 plus years of being in the insurance sales business. So let's talk about kind of what I mean by going all in and the kind of mindset shift that you can employ, because I want this to be a practical, applied type of strategy, not just some highfalutin, another mindset video. I want you to be able to look and analyze at the kind of obstacles in your own mind and then overcome them, because this is something we all have to work on in order to get beyond mediocrity and to get to the higher level of success, is fixing this stuff right here, because many times it's the guy looking back in the mirror that is our true competition, not the other agent out there. So here's the problem. The problem with going all in these days is that there are so many other organizations, products, opportunities in the insurance space and then outside of the insurance space that are saying that their thing is the number one way to get rich. You got Bitcoin, you've got NFTs, well, you had them for a while. You've got other insurance IMOs, you've got Telesales, sit on your ass, pick up the phone and make $10,000 a day stuff, right? And look, there's success opportunities in all those things. But the difficulty that most people have in getting started is that I am going to have to say by default no to all this other stuff in order to say yes to have a chance with this. So a lot of people, what they do is try to reverse engineer this and say, well, I'll do this 30 hours a week. I'm kind of almost always committed, but then I'll do a little Bitcoin on the side, or I'll have this side hustle doing this instead. And then I'll spend 60 hours juggling 2 or 3 different business models. And how could I not be successful by fishing and doing multiple poles in different ponds? The reality, though, is quite different. And I have a lot of empathy because I was in the same boat. I was doing final expense and I wanted to dabble in a little Medicare. I had some other things going on too as well. And all it got me to at the end of the year was failure. I failed out of the business in the first year. And it wasn't until I learned this lesson about going all in that I started raising above mediocrity, having success, and then profound success later on. So I want to give you a couple of mindset things to think about here and some realities I've learned being in business since 21. I'm 38 now, being in insurance for 13, 14 years now, that hopefully will help wrap your head around these, that has helped me kind of remind myself when I feel like I got to start doing a bunch of different things at the same time. And I'll give you some personal examples as we go through this. So number one, you can do one thing really, really, really well and get rich. Okay, this idea that you have to cross-sell or sell multiple products, it sounds good in theory, but in application, it's very, very rare. It exists, but it's very rare to find the top echelon of people doing one thing extremely well. So I'll give you an idea. There are agents who come into final expense, just sell final expense, and they're in the top 10% of income earners for the rest of their life because their mind is completely focused on just final expense. And maybe they want to scale and grow, but instead of picking up other products and expanding the complication of the sales system, they go into the recruiting side and they build an agency, duplicate what they already know intuitively into some agents that are receptive and want to learn and work, and then scale their income that way, still doing one thing really, really well. And we've seen this time and again in different business models. It's very rare that you see an entrepreneur starting in their business who has multiple things going on at once. Now, sometimes you'll see at the higher levels, after years and years of success, an entrepreneur that has his or her hands in different business models, but it's very rare to see initial success from trying to do multiple things at the same time. And think about it. Insurance is complicated. And I can tell you this if you're brand new, it's way more hard and difficult and complicated than it looks looking from the outside in. As soon as you get into the thick of it, you're going to be up to your eyeballs in underwriting and sales stuff that you have to employ and the emotional roller coaster of the business. And then if you have to learn like different products at the same time, this in part contributes largely to the failure of so many agents in their first year. So the solution is just to do one thing really well. Again, examples in our space and final expense. Look at Lincoln Heritage. Don't agree with everything on how they run their operation, but it's true. If you look at what they do, their top guys make good money. Their top agents make great money. Their top agency owners make a lot of money too. And it's because they have a systematic approach that works really well. So it's not that one strategy is better than another. It's just that you have to go all in on what you feel that your passion is and where your belief is. Now, there's some other additional things that come along with that. And the second point here is you got to accept not just the good, but the bad with the business, right? And this is where it gets difficult. If you go into business thinking it's just going to be rainbows and sunshine and there's not going to be any difficulty or frustration, you're out of your mind, or you're just a brand new entrepreneur. Every business, even the ones that you're tempted to consider doing simultaneously with your main business, are going to have bad and good. There's no way to get out of a business that is just good. You're going to have bad with it. And instead of hating the business because of its inherent bad side of the business, you need to embrace it. So for example, in final expense, what are some bad things about final expense? Broke ass clients. Clients don't have any money. They live on $700, $800 a month. And with that poverty, many times comes a mindset of poverty, right? They've gotten to this point in their life because of a series of historically bad decisions, right? Now, some people haven't, granted, but a lot of them have. And you have to deal with these people who may not make good decisions like keeping their policy until they croak. And that's just a reality. And instead of wishing and hoping things are different, I think it's better just to embrace it and then attune accordingly. And so that's what you have to do with any business. That's one example out of many. We could look at many other business models, but I hope you understand this. This is how business is going to be if you're running your own business. There's bad and there's good. And as soon as you accept it, and as opposed to oppose it, get frustrated with it, but as soon as you embrace it even, business gets easier because it doesn't surprise you. You learn how to work around the difficulties instead of get angry about them and let that preoccupy your mind instead. Number two, there are always other lucrative opportunities. So Alex Hormozi had a really good video, and it is absolutely the challenge I've had in my business, and I've seen others do as well, is that as you climb the business, you are going to be presented with other opportunities that look fantastic. And they look really good when you are really struggling. For example, I had an agent for years that worked, worked with me about a year, but he had about 15 years of experience. But he had 15 years of experience with like 15 different products. He bounced around from one agency to another, and as soon as things got hard with one product line, he would just dump them and move to the other agency and repeated that process over and over. And he created this behavior pattern of he knew how to sell, he had a great personality, but he didn't have the consistency. He didn't have the stick-to-itiveness that one needs to get through the crap and then to arrive at a higher level of understanding and a stronger mindset. So to this day, he's broke. He's never had any real success in the business because his own behavior patterns get in his way. And many of you are like this too. You've jumped around from different business models. You think that as soon as something gets tough, it's time to dump it. That kind of stinking thinking is going to end your career selling final expense or any other insurance product. What's the solution? The solution is to grit and bear and just deal with it. Things are going to get tough. But I assure you, if you do the fundamentals of this business, you see the people, you make the phone calls, you apply yourself, you work through your own mindset issues, you will see the light at the end of the tunnel. And the nice thing is you learn something from it, you grow from it, and you get better. And that incidence of frustration, which occurs for everybody, starts to minimize. You see less frustration, you see more success because you bared the process of getting through it. And last but not least, and this is really important for me, it'll be important for you as you grow in your business, is you have to seek out what your goals are and continuously, keyword continuously, refine and redefine it. So as we move through the process of our career in insurance sales, whether it's selling and then growing into other products, or scaling into an agency building situation, you'll be presented with other opportunities. You'll question if what you're doing is right. And you'll have to always make sure, in order to stay on the pathway that you have originally defined yourself, you have to always redefine what it is that's important to you, what truly matters, what your vision long-term is, and always be refining, redefining, and revisiting your goals. I have a goal-setting book somewhere. Actually, it's right here with all my notes for my videos I'm doing today. And what I do basically every couple weeks is an 80-20 Pareto principle dump. I learned this from the 4-Hour Work Week. Tim Ferriss wrote it. Highly recommend that you read it. And it's a great concept. As we go through business, we're going to be exposed to new information, which is going to possibly change how we perceive where our direction of our business is. And sometimes we can get weighted down with unnecessary bulk that doesn't necessarily contribute to where we want to take our business. And so by having a revisiting of our goals on a consistent basis, for me a couple weeks, once a month, something like that, I'm able to revisit what truly is important. Is that idea of what I took on truly going to contribute long-term to the ultimate goal of my business goals? And so I'm able to constantly dump the 80% of junk that really doesn't contribute to it and refine and refocus on my 20%. So this is really important, guys, because especially for many of you watching this, you're selling. You're going to be out there and you're going to have a bad week. You're going to start questioning yourself, should I really do this business? Is this really for me? My advice is that it is for you. But what you have to remember to do is to revisit those goals. What is my goal? I want to make 6 figures a year. What do I need to do to get it? 15 presentations a week, close half of those presentations, buy 30 direct mail leads, for example. And always reread that, rework it, revisit it, and re-believe in it. Reinvesting yourself in that process is critical, because this leads to truly, if there is some sort of secret sauce in this business, it's this. If you want to have long-term success, you want to make a lot of money, you want to have the life that you want, you have to consistently apply the fundamentals. Again, not sexy, but true. And the truth is, very few people do this. Everybody knows the fundamentals if you've been in this business or you watch this channel enough, but the difference is, are you going to actually apply that? Are you going to actually say no to the things that are distracting you? Are you going to actually overcome the frustrations of this business and continue to plod on in the direction you promised yourself and set for yourself? That's where the rubber meets the road. And that's where most agents fail. So take anything, if you take anything from this video, it's this. Consistently apply the execution of the fundamentals. Do that for 5 to 10 years. And you will be in an arena of your own, making the kind of money that people simply dream of and wish they could get. All because you just followed a system consistently over the long haul where many people couldn't. Hope you enjoyed this video and got some insight about it, about how to overcome the biggest issues of going all in and seeing the kind of success that you want out of this business. If you like it, please subscribe, comment below if you'd like to. And check out daviddeford.com if you're interested in joining a final expense agency that actually cares about your short and long-term success. Thanks for watching.